Hey peeps, it's Tripl-L, and today I'm here to bring you the 7 Deadly Sins, chapter 188, The Sword and the Soul to Save One's Friends, my chapter impressions and thoughts, and we're doing it top moment style because peeps, let me tell ya, this was a really fun chapter. I'm gonna say that I very much enjoyed it. I really liked it. It's not really a love because the first half of this chapter was kind of like, yeah, just setting up, wasn't super exciting. It had very good moments, but overall, it's the second half of the chapter that got me really excited. And for that, I'm going to say I really like this chapter. So anyway, guys, let's just get right into it. Let's go top moments. I'm just going to list out all the best parts that I found important and then just talk about a little bit of each of them, depending on how important the moment was. And yeah, overall, we all know this chapter had marked a pretty big thing. It had the return of a very important character. So let's just get right into it. The color page. Okay, I just had to talk about it because it was a very nicely done color page. The sins present were Meliodas, Bond, and King, and Hawk, and then Elizabeth. It was a very nice color page. It's a very fun color page. Moving on, and these are just little moments that are important because they show little things, such as seeing Jericho on guard duty. I think it's good that we saw her character. It's good to know that she's relatively near Bond. I was hoping that we could see Elaine somewhere in there, but Elaine's not there. It's still up in the air whether or not Elaine is alive. But since Zarathus is present, maybe Elaine could have found a way to loophole the whole curse. Next one. Fraudrin scared of Escanor. This is pretty early on, but it's good to see that the enemies recognize that Escanor is a monster and that he should not be taken lightly in any scenario. So just really a good moment in further establishing Escanor's claim to fame. The next moment I very much enjoyed was Mons Piet cutting Derriere's hair. It was a very nice, endearing moment, and these moments are very important because they do serve to slightly humanize the demon characters. And at this point, after seeing the little exchange with the next moment where with pretty much Mons Piet's moment of weakness when he got hit by Derriere because he was just being silly and wanted to see her in a nice dress. I think that speaks volumes to the characters, and given what happens later with Derriere in the chapter, I'm starting to wonder what's going on. But before we get there, just in terms of these two, their relationship is very interesting. I would very much like to see the full extent to what these two have suffered at the hands of the goddesses. And with Mons Piet, it seems to me that he is a character that would very much like to not be involved in this fight anymore. He is very much a character I think would want to just take would want to take Derriere away and just live a peaceful life with her. But at this point, Derriere is the character of loss, right? She's experienced loss, probably like very personal loss. And just the way that she reacts to Mons Piet, and Mons Piet kind of the way he's drawn in this particular chapter does show that I think it's going to be sad if this guy does end up dying in the future. Just because I think he's presenting a very unique kind of look to the demons. Anyway, let's move on. Next moment I enjoyed was the pair feeling something off in the distance. Pretty good moment. It was just pretty much set up for the next part of the chapter. And so the next moment I really enjoyed was Team Hawk on the charge. It was that initial panel. It was a very nicely drawn panel with Elizabeth, Zarathus, and Hawk on Mama Hawk and rushing through the forest. And really nice comedy moments later on where Hawk does mention they're rushing through the forest in a giant pig. It'd be weirder if no one noticed. But that was a really neat little quip right there. Anyway, the next moment I really enjoyed was Elizabeth's Goddess Eye. It's always nice to see it, and that particular panel was very nicely drawn. I thought that was going to be one of the thumbnails, but something later on in the chapter is what I decided on. And overall, the whole sequence with the Mama Hawk charging and the demons coming over, that was very cool. Like, the whole sequence was very fun. It was a very kinetic sequence, and I very much enjoyed it. The next moment I did enjoy as well was Red Demon Hawk after he swallows the bit of Red Demon. That was funny. Like, come on. It's funny that we got that particular Hawk in one of the cover pages and now we see him here. I enjoyed that. Anyway, this is where we moved into the last third of the chapter, where we have the pair of Derriere and Mons Piet showing up. So I very much enjoyed Derriere reacting to Elizabeth and pretty much asking her what the hell she was doing here. So that moment was very important because this speaks back to what Meliodas mentioned to Bond during the tournament arc. in that Elizabeth had, or how did he say? He said, yeah, he told Bond, don't you remember Elizabeth was the one that did so and so to the demons? And so it's nice to have Derriere kind of confirming that fact. At least she didn't confirm it with this particular line, but she confirms it later on. But it does at least lend more credits. Yeah, Elizabeth has been around for a long time, and who knows, maybe she was affected by the Demon King's curse, the same one that Meliodas is affected by. But it's still that it's interesting. It's gonna be interesting to find out what mechanism keeps Elizabeth in play in terms of all her incarnations throughout history. And another thing now is, because of the way that Meliodas initially presented this issue with Elizabeth, I do wonder, was Bond also a reincarnated soul? Because he was telling it to Bond in particular if he remembered the fact that Elizabeth was responsible for so and so. Meliodas is a very enigmatic character, so this is going to be a very interesting plot thread to continue exploring. The next moment I very much enjoyed was Zarathustra charging in despite the fear, because this whole chapter Zarathustra is pretty much building up that, yeah, the demons are very, very dangerous, and that moment where he's pretty much feeling the pressure of a demon and he still chooses to go in and save Elizabeth, that's why Zarathustra is a good knight. It's because even if he is like about to shit himself, he's probably going to try to do the best he can. But it's unfortunate that he doesn't really have the firepower to back it up. The next moment I very much enjoyed was Elizabeth showcasing a power-up and pretty much maiming Derriere's arm. Like, that was gross and disgusting. Like, actually Derriere got it really bad. She got it up the ass pretty hard in this one. So that was really cool. It was really cool to see that Elizabeth has an offensive power now. And Elizabeth's question to the demons of why they're always hurting people, it's a fair question. Next moment I very much enjoyed was Derriere officially recognizing Elizabeth that yes, it is her. And from Derriere's anger towards Elizabeth, I now have to wonder, how crazy would it be if there was a crazy love triangle with Derriere, Meliodas, and Montspiet? That would be kind of funny, except Derriere liked Meliodas, Meliodas didn't care about her, Montspiet cared about Derriere, was probably there and was her shoulder. Yeah, her shoulder to cry on. So, man, that'd be really unfortunate if that happened. But no. In all seriousness, I do think it's just Derriere has a lot of loss in her life, and Elizabeth might have played a part in it. Or Elizabeth's previous incarnation might have played a part in it, which would be unfortunate. But Derriere, she has a lot of trouble with Elizabeth, and so pretty much the conflict between Derriere and Elizabeth was very engaging in this chapter. The next moment I very much enjoyed was that moment when Derriere is about to attack and you see the window creaking open. And then the follow-up moment, the nasty block and the rib destruction. From the way that was drawn, it looks like Derriere pretty much had her side gouged out by the one guy that comes back, Meliodas. And that's pretty much the final moment of the chapter that really is one of the top moments. Meliodas returns, and he does it while destroying Derriere's ribs. And that was gross, but that really showed he was pretty pissed off that she was about to attack Elizabeth. So, yeah, really strong moment. Really good showing from Meliodas. So how many chapters was this? I would say maybe a bit more than 6 chapters without Meliodas. In that time, we got to see Escanor display his power. That's all we got in Meliodas' apps, and now they're heading towards the castle. So Meliodas being back is a big deal. And it's very exciting. I am kind of disappointed because it happened so soon, but given the context of the situation, it kind of needed to happen because Escanor is really the only person that can take on commandments relatively easy. So having Meliodas back is a big deal. So that's pretty cool, and I'm very happy for that. But I am mostly engaged for the Derriere, the Montspiet relationship, and just what's going to happen next chapter. Ideally, we're going to get a lot of interaction between the pair and Meliodas next chapter. But yeah, anything else I need to say in this chapter? It was endearing seeing Elizabeth finally back in the hands of her beloved, and Meliodas being cool. Oh, and Meliodas' comment of what the heck did Hawk eat? That was funny. But yeah, peeps, so like I said, I really like this chapter. It's a very good chapter, and it's presenting a very interesting thing in terms of characterization for Montspiet, and I do want to see what exactly did Derriere experience, and what does Montspiet feel towards Derriere, or what kind of perspective does he have on Derriere and his involvement with the 10 Commandments. Anyway, peeps, till next time, I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good day.